He looks like a UFL guy. He is not fast and quick. And he's a liability in pass coverage. Dude, Dylan Gabriel almost had his leg taken off at USF. Do you know that? He had a catastrophic knee injury, and he transferred to OU, and then he went to Oregon. Seriously, he almost lost his fucking leg. That guy's the fourth quarterback, and there were dudes out there on Saturday that are fighting for jobs. Again, there's no debate on what you saw. Now, 22 players. Let's add it up before we get Zander on here. 22 players, right? Are you starting 22 guys? Right? Out of what you saw on Saturday, 35 players have to be picked out of that group on what you saw. 35 with players battling for starting jobs. By the way, JAKIB kicked ass over the weekend. Zander and John did a Herculean effort. We were the most watched network, I think, in Philadelphia the entire weekend. And that's because of the hard work of the guys and what they did over the weekend. The trade and all that too. I mean, all of it and how it went down. Without further ado, one of the hardest working guys that we've been around in a long time. We're so thankful. Again, I'm watching. I watched some of the stuff on what they were posting. He did a halftime show too, which was great. I check in every now and then, guys, just so you know. Without further ado, our guy, Big Z, Zander Krause, joins us now.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How's it going, horse?
Not bad, man. Not bad. I mean, holy shit, you have been on a rampage for an hour and 37, Sills. Some of your best work, my friend.
What'd you see, dog? I mean, listen.
I don't disagree with you, dude. I don't disagree with you. I don't want to see in any realm. I don't want to see any shit foot. I don't want to see you not have good effort. I don't want to see you get your ass handed to you. Look, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to sell the farm maybe a little bit as much as you were ready to. But look, you don't want to do anything like that. You know, I think that's a philosophy for life. How you do anything is how you do everything. And you don't want to look like that. So I understand that part of it. Maybe I think you went a notch far in some regards, but look, that's all right. Where it teaches own. Everybody's gonna have a different opinion.
Okay. I'd like to know where you thought I went too far.
Well, just in that, I think, well, I don't know if you went too far, but I think in a very Silsian way.
Okay.
I think in a very Silsian way, you make.
Okay.
I don't know if it was that you went too far. I think it was more the delivery. You remember we've talked about this before. It's maybe a little bit of the delivery.
All right. Okay. So let me go. Do you want to, Zander? My point is that there's probably 15 guys that played this past weekend that are looking for jobs and that are looking to make the roster. 35 men are going to make the roster off that shit that you saw. You got beat up in the joint practices. Then you got beat up on Saturday. That has to be, would you not agree? That has to be one of the worst weeks of work for the Eagles in 4 years.
It wasn't good. Definitely wasn't a good week of work. No doubt about it. The Browns beat them up in the joint practices, which I think honestly are more important. I mean,
yes.
A lot of our first team offense was in there getting beat up. You know what I mean? First team defense in there getting beat up. Joe Flacco had 4 touchdown passes in the second practice. So look, not ideal. Maybe it's a good wake up call for a team that's been getting a lot of glaze early of we do still have to, put everything, do everything the right way in order to compete. But, not great, not happy about it. But I also think maybe you learned a couple things. I mean, Look, I was happy about Makuba. I'll say that. I agree he wasn't amazing every single play. But when you have a knack for the football on that side of the ball, that's an easy way to get on the football field. Even if you're going to give up a couple of plays, even Gardner Johnson last year, he gave up the most plays of anybody in the secondary, but he also had 6 takeaways. So if Makuba's going to show a knack like that, I think that's a great thing. Cornerback too, I'm seeing really nothing. Jacorian Bennett was pretty good, and he had that one play where he
I thought he was okay. He needs more reps.
But I'm worried about him getting hurt. Do you see him make the punch out and, hold his shoulder? So I don't know about that. But, there were some positives. I thought Campbell looked okay in the game. I thought Trotter looked okay. And to your point, you said there's certain guys on that field that are going to be fighting for playing time. I thought for the most part, outside of the corner spot, outside of probably Sidney Brown, they did all right. They looked all right. Those were probably the least of my worries of the guys that were on the field. After that, I was wondering this, Sills, because you talked about the depth, and you're right, man. There's only 22 starters. So, even if none of your starters play, you have 30-something guys, that are playing out there. But is this one of the ramifications of success?
Totally.
Where you just don't have depth. We're top-heavy.
Totally.
We're top-heavy. If you lose Quinyon Mitchell, we're fucked. If we lose A.J. Brown, we're fucked. If we lose Jalen Hurts, we're fucked. If we lose Lane Johnson, we're probably fucked.
This is the price of success.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking
about.
This
is the price of guys panning out.
Right. Yeah, that's true. All these draft picks.
The draft picks you have on defense and the draft picks that you have and guys that you acquired, look at what you did. You gave a raise to Saquon Barkley. Lane has been a success. Cam Jurgens has been a success. Landon has been a success. You're paying these guys for being right. Well, that's eventually going to take its toll on the back. Zander, this is why, you said all the offseason, hey, dude, you know what? You can't keep everybody. Well, here's what it is. You can't keep everybody. This is what the league wants and doesn't like.
Yeah, I'll say this too. Just from a personal perspective, as that will continue to evolve, as all of our perspectives evolve each and every day, I am starting to wonder, as a confident and optimistic fan, as opposed to you and John, who are more objective and not as infatuated with the result.
You're objective.
No, but I'm saying even my fan optimism, I'm starting to wonder if we did give up too much on defense. It's hard to win in the NFL. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, no matter what changes, the Eagles are going to win. If that was the case, we'd have more than 2 Super Bowls. It's a hard thing to do. It's very hard to win in this league. And you're kind of looking at that defense right now, and you're just like, all right, I do feel like there's some optimism or there's some good potential there.
Yes.
But in 2025, it's going to be really hard to replace Slay and Gardner Johnson. And honestly, I feel best about Moro Jomo replacing Milton Williams. I know Milton was great last year. I know you, John, and I have kind of also seen that a little bit differently, but I think that's the one I feel best about. Edge, I have small concern on the depth. I'm actually confident in Jalix and Nolan. Safety, I got no clue. Cornerback is, as I've been saying all summer, is the number one spot for me that I have no idea what is going to happen there. So you look at that, you look at the way the team won last year, and you're like, yeah, I mean, this defense, if they take a significant step back, it's not only going to make things harder defensively, but it's going to make things a lot harder offensively, because the complementary nature of the game you played last year is going to go out the window. So, I think that's where, look, I'm still optimistic. I don't want people to think, oh, I'm not selling. I'm not out. I don't think that they're not going to win. I just look and you say, you have more of a climb this year than I think we anticipated. If you come into camp and Keely Ringo looks like a starting cornerback and Andrew Makuba looks ready to go, or Sidney Brown steals the job, you're probably like, look, see, this is why they let those guys go. We haven't really gotten that at either safety or corner. And you wonder, the other thing I'm thinking at this point is, Sills, what's Howie doing? Because I know that trade yesterday might tell you some things about Dotson or AJ, but something else I think is coming with Howie Roseman. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's a splash. I'm not sure if he's going to go against what he's done this whole offseason by going really cheap everywhere. But I feel like something else is coming. Not sure what.
I'm going to make a comment here about Keely Ringo here. And you know what? Being right about a player not making it fucking sucks. I don't like that. I don't care what anybody thinks about how I put these predictions on. At the end of the day, I was Keely Ringo fighting for jobs. So that sucks. But here's the deal here. Somebody on my X account goes like this. Way to go. Really a bold prediction that you said that the guy wouldn't win the job. Hey, we'll get to it. And he goes, it's low-hanging fruit. Wait a minute. You're the ones that spent 3 years and traded up to get the guy. You're the ones that put all the player development into the guy, and the guy's going the other way. I mean, he is not winning that job. What happens at corner two? And now,
I don't get why that would be low-hanging fruit. We let Darius Slay and Isaiah Rodgers walk because we presumed that we had the next guy up. I don't get why that's even low-hanging fruit. I mean, look, I disagree with you more than anybody on your show. You know that. We bicker every single day here, Monday through Friday. But that's not low-hanging fruit. That is the fruit. That is the fruit on the tree right now, is that the defense has problems because of who they let go. And we put our stake in Ringo. Yeah. The guy hasn't done shit. He's not even getting first-team reps anymore, Sills. 2 practices in a row now, not a first-team rep for Ringo.
And now what I heard Vic say is that he's going to get a look out at corner today.
Cooper
is going to get a look at corner today. I mean, how do you think they resolve that? Do you think – we'll get to the trade here in a minute. Do you think that they're going to make another move for a corner?
I don't know. I mean, look, they made one move. How many moves are they going to make there? I'm not really sure,
2 moves in 13 days they've made.
Right, with a wide receiver, which I didn't really get. But, I mean, look, we'll talk about that, I'm sure. I'll wait for that. But, yeah, I'll wait for that. But corner, I don't know. I mean, they already made a move there. How many moves will they make? Will they make another move at corner? I don't know. Maybe if there's a more veteran or certified player out there. But I don't see a purpose in bringing in Jacorian Bennett Part 2. If it's a guy that's stashed on a roster who couldn't get on the field or hasn't worked out or I don't think that really fixes what you're looking for. I mean, that's what we went for with Jacorian Bennett. Wouldn't they have just in the trade that they made there, traded for somebody else if they were looking for somebody better than him? So, yeah, I'm not really sure I don't think they would trade again for the corner.
You know who's on the market right now?
Who's that?
Jamil Dean.
Oh yeah, I saw that tweet today from you.
Okay.
Yeah, the Bucks guy.
The Bucks guy is on. He's on the market. They want to get some cap relief. He's not bad.
I just don't know. Like, dude, why'd they wait till August 18th?
Because they wanted to see Benjamin Morrison, the kid from Notre Dame, and I think he's outplayed him.
Benjamin, it's funny because I was saying Benjamin Morrison pre-draft last year because that kid had injury problems in college, but
I was wrong. He looks great.
He's a good player for sure.
He looks great here.
All right. Well, look, if there's names out there, then maybe. I mean, look, Howie's got a lot of draft capital right now. I don't think he's going to rest on his laurels. But at the end of the day, the question is like, okay, let's say Howie identifies he wants to make a move. Like, what's the price he's willing to pay? Is it a draft pick? Is it, remember, because a lot of these guys you want to trade for, you got to give them a contract too on the way in.
Yes.
And everything they've done this offseason has been a clear indication they're prepping for the massive contracts that are coming down the pipeline with Jordan Davis, with Jalen Carter, with, Quinyon and Cooper DeJean, with Moro Ajomo potentially, with Nolan Smith, with all these guys. So, look, what does he want to pay? Does he want to go in the Temu route? That's going to limit your trade pool significantly. If you're ready to pay somebody, well, shit, you're going to start talking about some different names.
Okay, so here's the deal. It's the second trade in 13 days for the Eagles. They sent Harrison Bennett to the Texans for John Metchie, the former Bama receiver, who was really great in college, by the way. And the Eagles part with the 2026 fifth rounder, and they get the Texans 2026 sixth rounder. My question to you is, okay, either A.J. Brown is injured or they're trading him. Pick one. I mean, or they're pick one, because here,
I don't feel like that.
Bro, here's the third. Here's what the third wide receiver got last year in Philly: 35 catches with 6 players. I didn't know there was a need, and I kept.
You're not trading. What are you?
Okay,
trading?
No. I'm making a point here.
Yeah, all right. I'll let you finish.
I'm making the injury point here. This is more so than this. I'm making the injury point. So here's where I'm going with it, because John Dotson, every single scrum, I hear people going to Jalen. Hey, your chemistry with Dotson is great. You guys have been able to work more.
I have heard that a lot this summer.
Okay, and How about this? You guys, you had him last year. He came in on the week of the opening season. Now you've had more time. And Jalen's even going, yeah, me and him are really working well. I didn't know there was a need for another wide out there. And plus, Anaya Smith, he's starting to look like something, at least, that he didn't look like a year ago. He's clearly having a better preseason than he did a year ago. So why the trade?
Well, I mean, can you listen?
He's hurt.
I'm wondering about A.J. Brown, too, in terms of how bad that hamstring is, but I don't think it's long-term. I'm looking at it more from weeks 1 through 4. Could A.J. miss some time early? But is it fair, Sills, to zoom out and just say this? They were about to cut Harrison Bryant. They knew that. They've already identified that.
They were about to cut this guy, Metchie, and Texans, too.
That's what I'm saying. So the Eagles were like, I'd rather take that dart than the Harrison Bryant dart, who we've already identified we're going to cut. So it's like we basically traded nothing to bring him. I know we can wonder. I know it's not the position that we thought. I know that it does make you question Darius Cooper, Jahan Dotson, and maybe even A.J. Brown and the injury. But we really gave up nothing. Like we didn't
give up practice today?
No.
Okay. So in the last 3 years, AJ missed the playoff game, 4 games a year ago, and now all of camp. I don't know. And you make a trade for a wideout. Is that all coincidence?
Listen, I can't say you're too wrong about that, but I don't think it's big picture concern with AJ. I don't think trading AJ is something at all.
I was trying to make a point.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I mean, it is a little weird. I mean, of everything we've looked at this offseason, receiver was not the thing we needed to do.
You said edge.
Right, edge, corner, safety, somewhere,
Depth, maybe more at O-line, right?
Dude,
something like that.
Tackle. Like, can you hear me out on this? Jalen Carter is a dominant football player. Jordan Davis is better than many think in my eyes. Moro Ojomo, I think, is going to be great. After those 3, it's like a falling off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
They got rid of Thomas Booker, and I was told, who cares? It's the 5th defensive tackle. Ty Robinson's not ready to play yet in the NFL, and this guy Gabe Hall is not ready to play yet. Last year, we didn't just have 3-man rotation on the interior of the D-line. It would have made more sense to trade for a defensive lineman than a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, just by looking at it in a vacuum of that, why trade for a receiver? Hey, maybe AJ's dealing with something, but I don't think it's huge. I'm just like, I don't know. Could he not be ready for week 1? It looks like it's possible.
How about this here too? All right. By the way, all supers will be read at the end of the segment. Don't forget Gary Cobb at 4:30, and also we're going to have Howard Eskin at 5:30 here. Okay, so here's my deal with Trotter. Trotter looks slow out there to me, but when you have Davis and Carter in front of the kid, that's going to cover up a little bit of that. He's going to play. The 2 defensive tackles that played in front of him were not very good. I thought the Browns knocked those dudes off the football in that game, especially in the first half. I mean, the Browns had 200 yards in like the first half, and Eagles had 38. Were you a little concerned with the O-line, the way they got knocked around? And, dude, the guy who was playing left guard, who's potentially going to play for Landon versus the Cowboys, he's the guy that gave up that Robinson hit, and the quarterback almost got him killed. I mean, are you concerned a little bit with the depth of the O-line?
I mean, I'm not overly concerned, but as we talked about in the beginning of this segment, and this might be one of the prices you pay for success, where it's just not as deep. I mean, remember, last year I know we lost Fred Johnson, but we also lost Mekhi Becton, which made Tyler Steen, who was a great backup. He was a good depth piece backup. Now in the starting role, that changes. If he gets hurt, you don't have that depth anymore, obviously. And it looks like really the only backup offensive line. Well, there's a couple that I think Drew Kendall was pretty good in that game. He's a rookie player. I thought I was pretty optimistic on him, but Kendall Land maybe okay. But I mean, look, you might be right in that. We were told 14 NFL ready offensive linemen. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I'm going to have to ask John about that tonight.
What about waiting on Reed Blankenship's deal? What's up with this?
Yeah, maybe. Could be coming.
Okay.
A couple weeks still. What are we? How many weeks out are we from the opener? 2.5 weeks, right?
This is the last week of preseason football.
Last week of preseason football. Then you got 1 week, and then we have the following Thursday night.
Start of the season.
The following Thursday night.
Bro, I'm telling you, my prediction is March. like they did with Zach Bond. Right before free agency starts is when they're going to do that. Okay,
do you think they've identified whether they want to pay Reed or not yet?
The more this goes on, the more I don't think they do. Or Reed, this could be a Reed deal. They might have a deal on the table, and Reed doesn't like the money. You ever think?
Well, remember, Milton Williams did that.
There could be a deal.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to pay Milton Williams. Milton Williams said, "I'm going to bet on myself."
Yeah.
And it worked out for him.
Reed may be doing the same thing here, man. He may be going like this. I'm going to get a contract there. And you know what? If we go back to a Super Bowl and we play well. So what about today, Vic saying that Nolan was hurt a little bit, and that's why they put Jalen Hunt over there?
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of that. I didn't know exactly what to make of that. Shows you the lack of depth. Got to move one. You got to move your right edge all the way to the left edge. If your left edge gets banged up even a little bit, because you don't really know if those other guys can play left at all.
That is exactly the thought. And that's
great
and smart. You got to move a guy who you're projecting to be a starter to fucking backup.
Right.
Because that guy, you're not sure. That's Vic not really being sold that guy's going to hold up over there.
Yeah, I agree.
So then that means you've got Azeez and you've got Joshua, right? That are going to be the maybe rotating other edge rushers. Bro, you got a problem there. So I would ask you, you think Howie's one of the 5 teams that's taking a look at this Trey Hendrickson thing?
I don't know, dude. It's so against everything he's done this offseason. And by the way, does he even fit what Vic wants to do? He's a power rusher.
They want a player and a 1 for Trey.
Yeah, but does
you got to pay north of 35.
And does the skill set even fit what Vic wants?
I don't like the player.
Look at the edge rushers that Vic has used. I mean, Nolan Smith and JAKIB Hunt are
those kind of guys.
I mean, he wants guys that can drop into the flat. He wants guys that can set the edge. He wants, speed rushers around the edge, and he wants more versatile ends. I don't think he wants.
Now he's got 35 sacks in the last 2 years.
I know he does, but I mean, look what Vic's defense proved last year. It's not a defense that thrives on sacks. Their top sack guy last year at 8.5. They were the best defense in football by a wide margin.
Who do you like at safety right now, Makuba or Sidney?
Big jump from Saturday's game. I'm wondering if Makuba's the bigger upside. You might have some serious growing pains with him early, but if you get over that hump and he can figure out how to play the position better, and then he gives you that knack for the ball ability, because remember, Sills, he's better in space than Sidney Brown. And Vic's safeties have to be good in space. That's why he doesn't like Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown's great in the red zone for one reason. He's a good downhill player. He's not good trying to survey the field, playing in space with nobody behind him. Makuba's got a much better knack for that. Remember, Makuba played some slot in college, so he understands that part of the position way better than Sidney, I think. Now you add in the knack for the ball. Shit, I think I'm going Makuba, even if he stinks first 6 weeks.
And I would put this out there. Don't you think Makuba's going to be more in a position to succeed if you have Cooper in the slot next to him, you have Reed next to him, and you have Q on the other side traveling? I mean, he's going to look better, and you have Bond in front of him, right? So, I mean, with better football players back there, you're probably going to be able to cover it. But what about Vic's comment today? Nobody has separated themselves. Really, there's jobs that are out there right now. There's a safety job and there's a corner job that are open.
It's pretty clear that Vic does not like the corners right now. I mean, he's not going to say that, but he says it in a different kind of way if you listen closely. He says, most times in camp, a player has already differentiated themselves. Right now, nobody has. He didn't say that in terms of everyone is so good, it's hard to pick. It was everyone is so bad, it's hard to pick which one's the best. That's what it sounded like to me. So not good from that front. Safety, I think is a little bit different because of the Makuba injury. John uses this analogy, I think is really a good one, is most teams come into camp with like a GPS set on where they wanted to go on a certain position. For the Eagles, it was Makuba at safety and it was Ringo at corner. That was where they wanted. So there might be some turns. You might go to take the wrong direction. At the end of the day, your GPS is always going to lead you back to where you wanted to go. I think that's where they wanted to go with Makuba. Because of the injury, it delayed it a little bit. had him keep Sidney Brown in there a little bit longer, and potentially altered when they could get Makuba on the field for full-time first team. I think that's going to happen now quick in the next couple of weeks. You might not hear much about it because the reporters are going to lose access. Only 2 more practices now after today of training camp. Pretty crazy, Sills. Almost the end of training camp here now, brother. But I think that one's a little bit easier to explain. Corner is different because it's been Sidney, or it's been Keely, and it's been Adoree, and then you added a name, and now Vic's talking about the added name that he likes what he's done. So they don't know. They don't have the guy. And any of the guys that do win right now that we have, do you feel confident about any of them?
No, I don't know.
Like, for example, if Vic comes out and says, okay, everybody, Keely Ringo is going to be our starting safety, the only thing that does for me is say, okay, now I know who's starting. It doesn't change my concern at all.
No, remember something. And I think people think that Vic's system is going to cover deficiencies in players.
Well, I think it will help them. I think it will help them more than other.
Remember what Dave said, though. It won't be Vic's scheme. It'll be the players in the scheme that will let the system down.
I mean, look, we talked about this before. Vic is not a magician. I think they've kind of fucked Vic over. I'm not going to lie to you.
Say that again?
How do you – I just don't get this. Like, how do you go to the Super Bowl and you have the number 1 defense in football? You had a defense that literally rivaled the gangrene era of Eagles land. Where
you're more accomplished.
And way more accomplished. And then you go into the following season, and instead of re-up, like if you told me they brought back the whole defense and they let the offense change, I'd have been like, all right, well, that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like last year was a defensive team and a running team. Keep the running back, keep the offensive line, keep the quarterback, and everything else could be a moving part. Defense, you got to return everybody. Like they fucked Vic. Vic took their ingredients last year, baked a 5-star cake, and instead of building them a new kitchen, they put them back in the penthouse or in the hen house.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes a lot of sense why they did that.
Let me play devil's advocate with you on something here, and let me play a game with you here for a minute.
Still's playing devil's advocate.
Okay. And let me play a game with you here. Would you rather keep AJ on the team or bring everyone back on last year's defense?
That's a tough one. I'm probably going to go AJ because we can't win without him.
You think you're going to win without that number 1 defense?
No, because we couldn't win without a good defense in 23 either. That's the reason for the collapse. But it's just a tough name that you say because I've seen no evidence of the team being able to win without AJ Brown. None.
Or the offense to function correctly.
Yeah. So it's hard for me to like if you said Smitty.
Keep AJ, and do you think that's their mentality? Keep the offense together because they pay all that money over there, and we're going to sacrifice, like Douglas always says.
Well, you know what?
Defense is a luxury.
That's fine, but look, if that's the approach, that's all good. But that means your offense has to hold that up in its end of the bargain. If you're putting all your money on the offense, I mean, let's go, offense. I need you to score 35 a game. Because even if your defense falls from 20 a game they gave up or whatever it was last year to 28 a game, you got to still win football games because you're the reason that the roster is not spread as evenly. I mean, think about it. Tells every player on offense, every fucking player outside of Tyler Steen is paid. AJ Brown's paid. Devontae's paid. Dallas Goedert got paid. Cam Jurgens paid. Dickerson paid. Mailata Lane paid. Saquon paid. Jalen paid. Everybody's paid. The whole offense is paid except for the new guy, Tyler Steen. That is it. And Jahan Dotson.
And Steen's on a rookie deal still.
Steen's on a rookie deal. So, again, I'm not mad at that. That's fine. But you better be a damn good offense because last year the defense was a bigger part of the reason that we won the Super Bowl. So you got to hold up your end of the bargain if your expectation is to return and win another Super Bowl. The only way to do that is either going to be Vic being a magic man or the offense taking some pressure off.
So, you think AJ's happy?
I don't think he's up. I don't think he's not happy. I think he likes the area. I think he personally.
That guy's he's not a top 25
what are you
player
asking?
in the NFL.
I mean, that's a tough question. Is he personally happy? Is he professionally unhappy?
Professionally. You think he's happy professionally here?
I think he's pretty happy. I do. I mean, I think he got traded here from a bum organization in Tennessee that has really no chance at winning. I think he came to a limelight organization where the spotlight is always on them. I think he's had 4,000 yards in 3 seasons. I think he's been an all-pro multiple times. He has a Super Bowl ring on his finger. He's experienced both personal accomplishment and team accomplishment. I think he's happy. I do. I think he's happy. I think there could always be more. But look, I mean, one of my favorite songs when I was growing up.
He's not a top 25 player now. All of a sudden, he's fallen like he's not a top 25 guy.
But let me finish this next part. I mean, there's this song I love when I was a kid by J. Cole. It's called Love Yours. And it's just like, there's always going to be a nicer car. There's always going to be a hotter woman. There's always going to be a bigger house. There's always going to be everything. You know, like until you love what you have, or until you appreciate until you appreciate what you got, you're not, I mean, like, you know what I mean? So if I'm AJ Brown, you got to say, hey, look, yeah, I could maybe have better stats if I was in Cincinnati, or I could maybe get more yards if I played here. But, fuck that. I got more here. My family likes it here. I got a good family life here. I got a good team. I got a, like, Sig Lord says, my girl just popped out of the shadows from over in the kitchen, and she said, what did you just say? No, there is not a single woman on the planet that looks better than my beautiful girl.
Don't worry, he'll do the lawn next Tuesday.
No longer.
Hold on. I think there's going to be a lot of books being read on that sidelines this year.
Put the book away.
I think there's going to be a lot of books being sold.
Put the fucking book away.
Hey, no. You tell him.
Don't you agree, though? It's like, dude, what? Yeah, no, like, yeah, AJ doesn't have everybody, but or doesn't have everything, but nobody does, dude. Welcome to the world, you know? Nobody's got everything. I promise you. The person you think that has everything doesn't. I guarantee it. Absolutely. All right? They got skeletons in their closet. They got shit that sucks. They got stuff that's hard. Yeah, that's everybody. Everybody's got to cross the bear.
What are you feeling is the biggest light when it comes to a player that's not been brought back, CJ or Slay?
What was the question? Who's the bigger
in your
loss?
opinion, the biggest light on what position do you think it is now showing so far in a month of camp? Is it the loss of Gardner Johnson, or is it the loss of Slay?
I think it's the loss of Slay. You can't replace him. You got 3 guys trying to replace him.
3? More like 5.
Yeah. So I think it's Slay.
Do you think your corner?
CJ, I feel like CJ was a big impact last year, but like Makuba already showed that he could potentially. Now it might not happen right away. I'm going to give Makuba 8 weeks. I mean, I got to give the guy a little bit of time, right? Yeah. I can't expect everybody to just come.
Dude, get this. I told you they get hall passes.
I think Makuba had. I think he showed that he's going to have some of that upside. I think he's going to be able to replace him.
They get hall passes with me because they're learning. And when they get out there with better players, Zander, they're going to be better. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm okay with the – look, I thought the 2 things that those 2 dudes showed me on Saturday was this. You see skill set. And Jimmy Johnson used to say it all the time. He wants people around the ball all the time. And guys, you know what? You can't put – turnovers as a stat. You just can't. You can't count on them. However, is it Gardner Johnson one of those guys that the football's just always around him? He had 12 picks in 2 years.
Yeah, he was.
In Philly. He could bust the scheme any moment, jump out of the rails of the defense. Yeah,
remember, he also got beat.
Still make plays.
He did, but he also got beat a lot. Makuba's a little better at that.
Yeah. Okay, you're going to learn to live with that.
I think Makuba's a little bit better at taking smart risk.
So I'm going to ask you a question that I asked you the entire offseason. Do you believe that they put more of a focus on 26 and 27 than this year? Is that becoming more evident?
It's definitely becoming more evident. I'm not saying it in the sense of they don't.
Not self-sabotaging.
Well, they're not trying to not win in 25. They're just at a crux period in transition of spending and where money can get allocated to. That this year, like last year, they signed Saquon Barker. They signed Bryce Huff. They did make some splashes, even if they didn't all work. They didn't make any of those this year. It was a lot going out and a lot of Temu cheap guys coming in. And right now, we're going through the process of this Temu guy worked. It's like you order something on Amazon and they're all $8. Some of the shit you keep because it's got you. Some of the shit is like, it's China junk. Get rid of it. You know, that's what you're looking at right now. That's why we're debating so many people right now. They brought in 9 dudes and they're all Temus. You're getting a couple that might work and a couple that are not going to work at all. That's what they've done. So it's fair to look at it and say, with where the team was, with where the contracts were, with where the salary cap is and everything like that, you know, they're going to be in a better or a different position next year than they are for this year. But here's what my problem with it. How are you going to spend more next year? You're not.
Well,
this doesn't get easier.
No, someone's got to go.
So you're going to have 2 years of losing players.
Or you better not lose those void years. League comes in there and loses them void years.
We're not, it's not going to be.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to AJ. A couple last ones here for you, Zander. Then we'll read some of the supers, and Gary Cobb from Fox 29 will be with us at the bottom of the hour here. So let me get this right here. All the things we mentioned about the last couple of years with injuries, you got a brand new offensive coordinator. Jalen Hurts and him have not really worked at all when it comes to the chemistry of improving a passing game. How are you trying to tell me, not you, I'm talking everyone telling me, you're going to get more out of the passing game when you fucking haven't worked at it?
Well, they haven't worked at it in the sense that A.J. Brown was tweeting for a quarterback to have this offseason. Remember he tweeted that out? Anybody got a quarterback in the area I can work with?
Looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, so you know that him and Jalen weren't working. Apparently, as you pointed out, Jalen and Jahan Dotson were working together down in Texas. I don't know what that means or how much they were doing that. And now no camp for A.J. Brown. I mean, it's fair to wonder. I do think A.J. is one of the rare
too.
I think AJ's one of the rare players of dude, turn on his tape. Like you know how to use the guy. You know what I mean? I don't need that much help with how to use that guy. He can be used in any way. Do you wonder at all if AJ's got any rust?
I mean, and then you make a trade too. I mean, my question would be, like, how are you going to improve the passing game? And how are you improving on trying to get that passing game from 29th when this is your quote. You said this.
I hate when you use my quotes against
me. Jalen Hurts is going to have to be
the worst word I can hear. This was your quote. Oh, fuck.
Hey, didn't you say that Jalen Hurts is going to have to do more this year, and he's going to have to play at an MVP level because teams are going to come in and they're going to be aiming at stopping Barkley? Well, how are you doing that when your number one primary target hasn't practiced the entire spring? How
they got more. This is year 4 together, so it's not like it's not like you're looking at
wasn't like they were high volume last year.
No, they weren't. And AJ Brown let you know about it. He wasn't happy about that. I mean, remember the way he handled it.
Any concerns with that?
I wouldn't say concerns, but it's something to watch. It's something to watch. I mean, if the team comes out and they're slow as heck in offense and they don't look good and AJ and Jalen don't have any chemistry, I think it'll be fair to point to that. But I can't worry about that with a player of his caliber. I just can't. You want me to worry about Jahan Dotson or Metchie? Okay, I'm good with that. I can't worry about it with AJ.
Okay. So your words right now, you ready?
Yep.
You're not worried about AJ. You're not worried about Hurts, because they're professionals. Is that right? Okay. Well, what about the new fucking coordinator that's never called a play? You worried about his chemistry with how to use those dudes when he's never called a play in his fucking entire life?
Well,
He's never got a rhythm. He's never even got a rhythm going with the quarterback yet.
I'll ask you, as somebody who knows tons of position coaches around the league, as somebody who's been around high areas of football, how much does it help Kevin Petula that he's been in the ear for the last 4 years?
Every position has its own requirements. And
I agree with that. I'm just saying, how much does it help knowing this is the way they call plays? This is the way they got it in. He's going to have his own style.
I think very little.
Okay.
I'll tell you what it does do. You can be honest with one another better because you know each other. You know what the players' strengths and weaknesses are. That's going to be easy for each other. but putting you in a position of success is something I've never done for you. Okay? Vic puts people in. Do you not agree that Vic last year put players in position to succeed and elevated Dean, Smith, Hunt, Carter, Cooper, all of those players, right? Why? Because he's not only just a linebacker coach, and look what he did to Bond.
Yeah.
Putting players in position is a skill set also. Hey, dude, because I'm a D-line coach, that don't mean I'm a fucking coordinator. I mean, and just because I know the guys, that doesn't mean I know situational play calling. Even if I'm in the room, you got the final say on everything. You've got to put these players, not get this. Kevin Petula doesn't only have to put AJ in the position of success, but he's got to put his quarterback into the position of success and the White on the other side in a position of success. All of that, Zander, one play is 11 dudes. One play is not one guy. You have to put everybody.
Isn't this kind of like a league-wide thing, though? They just don't practice a lot anymore, dude.
They don't practice getting people on the ground, and they don't practice chemistry.
No.
Yes, true, because you don't get practice time.
Now, I think it's made worse with AJ missing all of camp. I agree.
That's my point.
Yeah, he's missed a lot of camp.
Now, look, do I think they know one another? Do I think they know each other's strengths and absolutely?
I don't know, but this is like, this is what I'd say to Kevin Petula. Like, yo, dude, I don't give a fuck what you're dealing with. Like, you inherited a legitimate, not even a Lamborghini. You inherited a one-of-one hypercar that's made to order for some Uber billionaire. That's what you inherited. You didn't inherit a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. You got one of one. If AJ Brown
10 Bugattis are made a year,
shut up and do it. Like it's on Kevin Petula. It's not on AJ Brown.
Hey, no, right. That's what I'm saying. Get this. They make 10 Bugattis a year. That's what you got here.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
This is what you're right.
Just in, I ordered one for Big Sills. It's got the big sills on the head.
Hey, like I said, it's not just what we're saying here. You're right, Zander. I'm not worried about AJ. I'm not worried about Hurts in that. Okay, let's get to some of these supers before we get to Gary Cobb.
Let's do it. Christopher says, I'm tired of the Ringo needs more time. Ringo equals trash.
Oh,
I'm losing. I mean, look, I'm losing confidence in Ringo. This is the second practice in a row, no first team reps. So you start practice 1 of training camp. The Eagles want this guy to win the job. They give him every position, every chance to win the job. And now 16 practices later, the last 2 practices and the final joint practice, he doesn't even get a rep with the first team. I mean, he's clearly going the wrong way. So we're all losing confidence in Ringo, I think. Kimberly Sirico checks in. Ringo went in the draft too soon. Needs more time to bake.
Time's up.
Time's up is right, Kim.
3 years he's been on the team.
He did go into the draft too soon, though.
Yeah, and they traded up to get him. So, this thing's over.
Kyle says, is the glorified CPA still suffering from a concussion from getting hit from a Bud Light?
Listen, I wouldn't go there right now.
You can't be chirping Howie. This guy, come on, man, Kyle. Of all the people you could chirp, I don't think Howie Roseman's the guy you can chirp right now.
No.
Ray says, Sills and Z want the jambalaya, but Vic needs the cook. Well, Rice, it's hard to make a jambalaya when you don't have any salt or any seasoning. I mean, come on, man. Did they strip this guy of all his seasoning and they want him to make the finest jambalaya in all the land?
And the blowtorch is real.
You can't make jambalaya without any protein.
Or crayfish. How you doing?
Brian says, Sills, I don't trust these fragile players. Like Beignets tried to tackle a dude and almost exploded. Reminds me of Maddox, SMH.
He calls him Beignet. Wait, Beignet. Jacovian Beignet.
This guy might be.
I actually think he's your starter.
Prince says, I know about Caesar. Hey, Prince, I might be a white guy. My mom's 100% Italian. All right? I might be a white guy, Prince, but my mom's 100% Italian. We know how to season food, Prince.
I'm not a white guy. I'm Italian.
I know. You always say that.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all.
White guys don't run like me.
All right. I'll see you, brother.
Hey, brother, keep up the great work. By the way, Birds 365, right after.
Yeah, tonight, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, great work this weekend, Big Z. Absolutely awesome, man. Holy cow. I couldn't wait to get to JAKIB because crap that people don't realize. And Gary, get this, Gary Cobb is exactly what Saturday was in his career. And let me explain. Gary Cobb was a late round draft choice fighting for a roster spot. He made his 10-plus year career based on games like that. 22 starters. 35 guys have to be picked out of that shit we saw this past weekend. 35 guys. I'll tell you this, that had to be the worst effort in 4 years of me covering the Eagles in what we saw. With all that being said, one of my dear friends, guy that I looked up to when I was a kid, and here he is from Fox 29, our